It's just the same thing I said earlier, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is the same thing I said earlier that they don't speak on Revelations, and just so happened I'm watching a couple videos through YouTube. Then I found this one, just found it, and he said the same thing I told y'all earlier that big preachers, T.D. Jackson, don't speak on Revelations. Here it goes. This is crazy, and I've heard it a couple times on YouTube. People talk about this, but I've noticed why they don't speak on it by reading Revelations. Like the shits to activate what's inside of us, and they tell them to don't to reject it, don't and so they focus on other stuff in the Bible. So yeah, they don't want the people to yeah tap into that dark side. Damn, I didn't skip the whole thing.
Gather their monies together. Even what's that guy in Baltimore? What was his name?
Hold on. Wait a minute. This is the same shit I said earlier. This is crazy.
It's the doctrine of what the black church has pushed that has destroyed the minds of the people. With the 501c3, this is what happened, Phil. Let me show you. I'm going to give an example in John 11. John 11:47. I'm going to go back to the time of Christ. It says, then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. Here it comes. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, meaning Christ, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. What happened with many of the 501c3s is that America set up theological teachers from their theology schools, just like Rome set up the scribes and the Pharisees. That's where the problem comes in. When you have
and I ain't even into like deep into the back, and I already just spotted this stuff. Like just me reading Revelations and just going over stuff. I've always like they don't speak. They never speak on it. I always used to watch T.D. Jakes shit when I was younger. They never speak on Revelations. Never, ever. None of the preachers, Joel Osteen, none of them. They don't speak on Revelations.
Set up by your enemies. When your enemies or your oppressors, that might be a nicer word for your viewers, when your oppressors set up and dictate who your leaders are. That's the problem with the black church. Because if you notice many of these black churches today, I'll give an example. T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Juanita Bynum, give me some more. You got Pastor Noel, you got Donnie McClurkin, you got Kirk Franklin, so-called gospel preachers. If they can gather their monies together, even what's that guy in Baltimore? What was his name?
Jamal Bryant.
Jamal Bryant, right? Is that it? Jamal?
Yeah. He went over to New Birth now in Atlanta.
Right. If they can take 10% of their earnings and come together, we're not saying be poor, but take a small portion of your monies, come together. They could rebuild Chicago. They could rebuild Baltimore. They could create their own school system. But because they have been brought up under theology, the white man's system, their mind is not about nationhood. Their mind is not about solidarity. Their mind is not about gathering the lost sheep of the tribes of Israel, which we are. They're not about teaching the truth. It's about self-gain. How can I make a dollar out of 15 cents? That's the problem, Phil. Like it says in Timothy, for the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not the money per se. It's the love of it. When that's your God, that's what's wrong with the black church today. And they can do so much good if they just come back to the truth that they're the Israelites, that we have a king who the world calls Christ, and he looks like you and me, a black man, as described in the Holy Bible. Phil, you mean to tell me Creflo and T.D. Jakes never read the description of Jesus Christ in Revelation chapter 1, verse 14, 15? They've read it, Phil. They've read it and been told, reject that, deny that. It's not important, Phil. It's not important for black people to know Jesus looks like them. That's their mindset. I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. You got me?
Facts. Facts, yo. Said the same stuff earlier, dog. But he said it in a whole different, better, intelligent way. But mine came from the spirit, so it's all cool. His came from the spirit too. But it is what it is. Everybody shares light different. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.